Sami Zayn is with Jey Uso, and Zayn informs him Randy Orton hasn't shown up yet. Jey says, well, why would he? Why would he want to team with me after what I did to him with the bloodline? It's all my fault. Zayn says, don't worry about it. Fusion surgery, big deal. And Zayn says, you and I have history. We went to war last year, and I'll have your back no matter what, Jey. He's like, okay, cool. So they have no... This was actually... For all the criticism that AEW got last weekend, it was a very similar story that they played out here with the babyface, and is he going to show up at the end or not?
Oh, entirely. Yeah. And I spent quite a bit of time thinking about like why it is that one was reacted to so poorly and the other.
There will be no complaints about this show long storyline. Because I think WWE is viewed like this is a WWE storyline type of thing. And I mean, it's really no different. I don't think anyone in their right mind thought you're getting screwed last week out of MJF, nor Randy Orton here. So
there's that. I think there's also maybe some of the idea that like Randy is not the only person in this match. You know, he's not the champion defending, and you're not really kind of like the integrity of the main event is still there, regardless of whether or not Randy Orton is going to be a part of it. Whereas MJF being changed to Adam Cole, it completely disrupts it. It's also Randy Orton, who we haven't seen in like over a year, versus MJF, who, you know, like the idea I think most of us watching wrestling knows of tonight was to make the Randy Orton return as big as possible. Whereas with MJF, when they did it with the ambulance, I mean, it was just for a slightly elevated pop that I don't even think was all that much bigger.
Let's discuss it now. Do you feel like when they started this tease of Randy not showing up, do you think part of that thinking was the idea of, okay, let these people think that it's going to be CM Punk, as far-fetched as that is, that, okay, if the Punk chants start, even better. We've got the ace in the hole that they are not aware of. That, I mean, you could have looked at this on the surface and be like, man, you're just inviting these Punk chants in Chicago that he's going to be this mystery man that replaces Orton. And it didn't matter to that. And there were definitely some Punk chants, but never overwhelming on this show.
Right. I wouldn't think that it was done maybe with the intent of, you know, creating those chants. But if they came, I mean, clearly they weren't bothered by it.
And then the main event is Drew McIntyre, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, Dominic Mysterio, and JD McDonough against Seth Rollins, Cody Rhodes, Sami Zayn, Jey Uso, and Randy Orton in the WarGames match. Everyone comes out minus Randy Orton, and Priest and Drew are just locked on one another. Will they coexist is the question. And they mention that this is the same arena where Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes had their Hell in a Cell match last year. And we start off with Finn Balor and Seth Rollins, and Balor takes control. And this is where we do get some CM Punk chants. And Balor back body drops Rollins onto his crippled back, onto the metal between the rings. Hopefully he would be able to last for the next half hour. JD McDonough is third, his first WWE PLE, they note. And so the heels have the advantage here, and we get the old reliable kendo sticks brought into the ring. Jey Uso is next. Every time he throws a strike, they're yelling yeet. The countdown hits 0, and Drew goes to enter, but Damian Priest tells him to stick to the plan. And in comes Damian Priest with a baton as his weapon and starts whipping guys, and they've got the advantage. Balor attacks the ribs and back of Jey with a chair. Sami Zayn is in next. He gets a huge reaction, not because it's Sami Zayn, but because he takes out a table from underneath the ring, and this place exploded. Like, dude, the table might have gotten a louder reaction than CM Punk. It's close, okay? The table was a worse number 2 on this show. Drew McIntyre is following them, and this is where we get Jey and Sami hitting the 1D onto Drew McIntyre.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know, heading into the match, like almost the main story outside of Randy Orton is Drew getting his revenge on Jey and being in the same cage as him. And I don't know if like it felt like that big, you know, the moment they finally met. Like
he takes out the others, and then Jey is in the second ring. So he corners Jey in the second ring and yells, "Acknowledge what you did." Like, is that where we're at now? Because if you're forcing him to acknowledge what he did, Drew the onus is on him to actually explain, what did Jay do at Clash at the Castle?
Exactly. Right.
Outline what you want him to acknowledge.
Well, maybe that's the end of this entire story. It's like, I watched back the footage. I have to apologize. You weren't
Maybe
there
Jay
at all.
comes back and says, you know what? I think I've been the victim of profiling here, because that was my brother, not me. We don't all look alike. Not even me and my brother.
It was certainly not him in Solo. Yeah.
So Cody Rhodes follows in, and they note the fact that Dusty created WarGames, and Cody also created another big event in this city. Look at that. Yes. Cody pulls out a bull rope, and him and Rollins work together using the bull rope. Nothing like two men burying the hatchet by just massacring people with a rusty metal object.
You love to see it. Yes.
They crotch Balor, and man, this whole place is chanting, "Dom, you suck," as the clock counts down, and Dominic is the final member in for Judgment Day. And Cole says that tonight is the longest he's ever spent behind bars, which was a good line.
Great line.
Very good line from Cole. Dominic starts the three amigos, but the babyfaces surround him. It's a 4-on-1 beatdown, and the crowd starts chanting Randy. Then they start chanting CM Punk, and Drew and Priest choke slam Rollins, Cody, and Zayn all together. They take out Cody and Zayn with splashes and the coup de grace on Rollins, followed by a razor's edge to Rollins through a table. And when the clock hits 0, instead of Randy, Rhea Ripley runs down with a referee and the Money in the Bank briefcase, and she is about to cash in on Damian's behalf with Rollins laid out through the table when Randy's music plays, and this place explodes for Randall.
And so does the man's body.
Dude, Randy was... Dude. He, the man looks svelte.
I guess that's a word. This man, like... This always happens, guys are off and they have all the time in the world, and what are they going to do? They're going to go to the gym. They're going to eat a lot of chicken breast and I guess whatever else, and they're going to come back like twice the size. So this is like the biggest I've seen Randy in like maybe since his early days.
This is what we're going to look like in 3 years.
Well, clearly, yeah. It's evolution.
So he comes out, place goes nuts. He gets, I wrote here, gets the pop of the night, but that was overwritten. And the match begins at just after the 29-minute mark. Cole noting that he had double fusion back surgery, and Orton faces off with Drew, rekindling that program. They do a 5-way draping DDT spot with all the baby faces, and then he signals for the RKO. And this place, dude, they were electric for this tease. Randy could have done nothing other than this RKO, and the crowd would have just ate it all up. And he then sees Jay, and he corners Jay, and he's questioning him. And then Jay saves Randy by super kicking Damian Priest, who was going to nail Randy from behind. RKO to Dominic, and then we see just the procession of finishers, a Cody cutter, a Haluva kick, Uso splash, and finally JD is the only one standing. He tries to run up the cage to escape, where Zayn and It's Zayn and Rollins, and they throw him off of the cage into an RKO. And rather than Randy going for the pin, he defers to Cody, who hits the crossroads on Damian Priest, no less, and pins Priest in 34 minutes and 22 seconds. From the time Randy came in, they went like under 5 minutes. They went actually exactly 5 minutes.
Well, first of all, I mean, it felt a lot longer than 3 minutes that Randy Orton's sort of interval. It was, the time between Dominic and Randy Orton's entrance felt a lot longer than 3 minutes to me.
Well, they don't start the 3 minutes till the guy gets into the ring. So the whole entrance part.
No, but Dom was already in the ring.
Sorry, you're saying like
from the moment Dom entered the ring to Randy's like countdown felt a lot longer than 3 minutes to me.
It could have been. I don't know what the difference was, but they kept the match beyond portion pretty short, and it's
which I loved, because like from the moment Randy comes in, there's this incredible atmosphere, there's this incredible energy, and you just take that and you rush towards the finish, and it made the whole latter 5-6 minutes of this entire thing feel electric. I thought this WarGames was outstanding, John. Each one of the babyface entrants in this match at one point felt like the biggest babyface in the entire arena, and they will leave the show not with none of them being the biggest babyface in the entire arena. But it doesn't matter, because I thought for this particular match, everybody felt like they were an important member. And that's why, with the heels having the advantage, it felt like every entrant coming to bail, a beloved babyface out, that felt significant. The body of the match felt significant. And I thought everything was also very well executed. You had a lot of little side stories that were being told here between Drew and Jay, Priest and Drew, Jay and Randy, of course. And I thought almost everything they planned was well responded to. It was well executed. The Money in the Bank tease done. We came into the show fully, the surprise is spoiled, right? Randy Orton's going to be a part of this match. How are they going to toy with us to make the Randy Orton return feel like a surprise, even though they already told us? And they came up with the show long storyline, even though we all kind of like knew it was going to be bullshit. But the surprise on top of that surprise was the Money in the Bank tease, which I don't think you and I expected. And just to take our
how would that have worked if Damian pinned Seth Rollins?
Oh, it's completely
WarGames.
I think the WarGames match gets thrown.
Is the match paused? The match beyond is the match paused as they do a Money in the Bank cash in the middle of this.
It would be a non-result, right? Like, wasn't that what happened with WrestleMania with Rollins cash in?
That wasn't a non-result. He just added himself to the match.
But the prior match had a non-result. The one-on-one match between was it Brock and Roman?
Okay, I guess. Yeah, it just became a three-way.
Whatever. It's not the point. The point was to take our sort of attention off of Randy Orton so that they can hit that music and surprise all of us. And I thought it worked tremendously well. So, man, everything, and then leading to the closing sequences of bop, 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 finish, 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 like all the way rushing to the end, including this amazing RKO, dude.
That for 18 months, like, that could have looked really awful. You know what I mean? If the timing was off, and boy, would have that just been like a fart in church if like your return and you totally screw up a pretty, not the most ambitious RKO, but a fairly complicated one.
Pretty ambitious, dude.
Okay, I'm saying of the elite ones we have seen, this one was not a shooting star in terms of timing, but it was like one that you've got to nail the timing for this night, for this return, and they did it.
It looked flawless, and again, having that sort of like be the big high note at the end of this incredibly played solo, like guitar solo, in a song. Like, I thought this match was great.
They did a great job. There was a ton of stories coming out of it, and semi overshadowed at the end because they're all celebrating in the ring, and then Cult of Personality plays, and out comes Punk. It's clobbering time, and just screams, "Whose town is this?" And a dude in the front row is just yelling, "Chicago, Chicago." I was hoping it would have been Scrum, but he was probably a very happy individual here.
I don't think he could.
And dude, in 2 months here, like Punk looked pretty ripped here. His arms?
I mean, I guess kind of hard to tell.
Not Randy, but hey.
No, he was not Randy Orton shape, but yeah, I mean, listen, they yes, okay, like CM Punk overshadows maybe the WarGames match itself, but I think more importantly, it takes this pay-per-view from being a very good pay-per-view to being even whatever you want to say beyond, a great pay-per-view with the number of surprises and the way they were able to kind of play with it.
Dude, they're going to do them. I don't care what Monday Night Football does on Monday. I think they're going to do a huge number on Monday. The fact they did that number last week, 0.49 against 29 million viewers on for football.
Yeah.
Man, it's like you get to promote Punk back for the first time in 10 years. Like, I would promote, he should start the show. Like, that's going to be your peak quarter. Put Punk on first and go from there.
Yeah, you have Orton.
And maybe you save Randy for SmackDown or something like that. I mean, I don't know. Or they just put all hands on deck on Monday.
I think you need interaction with like the rest of the team. Randy Orton helped them win this match, right? People want to see Randy with Cody. They want to see him with Jay. They want to see him with all these other guys. But they have it's an embarrassment of riches, I guess they have on Monday.
There's a ton. So anyway, that is.
What are the directions you see coming out of this match for the men?
Well, certainly I see them continuing something with Drew and Damian Priest for sure. They teased that one pretty heavily, and then on the other side,
you had Cody pinning Damian as well. I don't know if that's supposed to lead us specifically anywhere.
I mean, I'm sure it was done for a reason, because you easily could have had JD there to eat the pin. I think everyone assumed that it would be him or Dominic in that role. So obviously would have been done for a reason. You do have, now that you're throwing Punk into the mix here, like that is, I mean, depending where Randy and Punk are situated, let's assume it's Raw. That's a lot of baby faces. That's a lot of baby faces and more than you have spots for. And someone should be either moving or turning. And I would say like Drew is kind of in the spot where you're already assuming he has turned at this point, but still, like that is 6 major baby faces right there that we're talking about on Raw. They're very, very stacked on Raw, but Raw should be stacked at the moment. Like it is SmackDown. You need to maintain it. You don't just put nothing into it, but that's more of a lame duck show. And Raw is the show that you are putting all your eggs in over the next 9 months.
Sure. Yeah. And with Punk, I mean, with Punk and with Randy, I guess they're not tied to any particular brand, but with Punk, we don't even know what his schedule is. This might be, he might make an appearance and then he might go away for a long, long time. So a lot remains to be seen, but there are certainly a lot of questions and a lot of interesting possibilities with this group.